Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast, sponsored by Prize Picks. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host, joined by the returning Dan Welch. Dan, it's the Grand Final of IEM Cologne, G2 versus Na'Vi. How you doing, buddy?
I couldn't be better. It's very exciting to have. This is actually a rematch from the last IEM Cologne, where Navi won. So it's pretty exciting, and it's got some history behind it. So
It'll be very interesting, to say the least. All right, so I apologize. It looks like there's an ant crawling on my monitor. That's exactly what you want to see, folks, when you're doing a podcast. Give me a second here. Where'd you go? Bye, squash. There you go. See, we made the podcast entertaining. Unfortunately, there was an ant harmed in the making of this podcast. It was on my monitor. That's disgusting. Anyway, all right. It's summertime, Dan. Sometimes you just get those little tiny ants that are just like annoying and that just randomly come in the house and you just randomly see somewhere. Yeah.
you gotta stop leaving all those freeze pop wrappers all over the place.
Oh boy. Alrighty, let's get into this recap the past slate. As with Dan and I are recording this around 9:08 Eastern time, and Draftkings hasn't paid out yet, so Dan and I are going off the assumption that this is the winning lineup. So the winning lineup, Mr. Dan, for the past slate was Captain Simple, who went absolutely bonkers. The man wouldn't go down. 52, 7, and 22 with 8 first kills and 2 4Ks. 150 DK points in the captain spot. Followed along by Electronic and Bit. So 3-man stack of Navi that I talked about in the solo pod last night. The 3 I really liked going into this. I thought FaZe was great leverage, but Navi they're showing right back to form. It's the reason this team, in my opinion, never broke up. Never really switched out members. They upgraded, no disrespect to Flamey, they upgraded from Flamey to Bit. Bit showing he can hang, for sure. And then you have a 2-man Astralis stack. I talked about them yesterday. I like the Astralis. I ended up captaining Bubsky, which didn't work out. We had Dupree and Glaive on the winning lineup, and Amanek, who was, I think, plus 15 or plus whatever, 61, 9, and 49 with 13 first kills, 10 round not played bonuses, 63 DK points. Amanek went off.
A nuke. He nuked a nuke.
Oh, that's well played. And considering Nuke really isn't an Opper's map, so that says a lot. I've been trying to op myself recently, just like trying to pick up that gut and trying to like learn a little bit more about the opping role, and Nuke is a pain to op on because of all the tight corners and everything else. It is also really not the best gun for a retake on Nuke. Just saying.
No, it definitely isn't.
But this is kind of along the same idea I had, so I can compare this to my lab just so you can all see. I ended up with the same 3 Navi. I ended up with Nico, who didn't do as well as I thought, but he did have 51, 16, and 54 for 49 DK points. For the 9,000, you needed more than that. I captained Bubsky, and I played Mages, so I had the right team construction. Just didn't have the right players. So, Dan, is there anything looking back at this past slate you would do differently?
Not play Jax.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I pivoted off. I actually had Glaive, but my narrative was that G2 was going to absolutely crush Astralis. So if it had, it probably would have been a better lineup. But they put up a good fight. So.
Yeah, and that last map came down to the last round, 16-14 on Inferno in the favor of G2. So Astralis showing that this team can do work. Though the behind-the-scenes stuff that might have more. I didn't think the behind-the-scenes stuff had an impact in this tournament for them, but it's something to consider going forward. It'll be interesting.
Looking good.
It'll be interesting to see what this team does to play break. Speaking of which, let's get into this. Pat, anything else you want to talk about from the winning lineup?
No, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, Just gotta have that one run back. I
Ye-
mean, what stinks for people that thought that like this continues to confirm my theory that G2 just does poorly even when they win. Like it's crazy. Um, so I just wanna keep emphasizing that point that G2 is just not great for DFS most of the time.
Yeah. I think this is G2's tournament, though, so we'll get into it. Before we get here into the pinnacle odds for this grand final matchup, best of five, the CSGO Clutch podcast is sponsored by PrizePicks. Head over to prizepicks.com and sign up using the promo code CLUTCH. Again, that's promo code CLUTCH. New depositors will get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Take advantage of that promo. Hit that like button down there in the video. Leave a comment down below. Hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way, there each and every single one of you know when these podcasts drop. And follow us on Twitter at CSGO Clutch Pod, at Wandelch WANDELCH, and at AdamWX21. Now that we got all the plugging out of the way with Dan, Navi come into this grand final best of five as a minus 227 favorite. Kind of not surprising with the way Navi have looked in this tournament.
Yeah. I'm a little. I heard you say you like G2, but I'm a little worried for G2. I don't.
Well, let's get into
I
and
don't.
talk about it. G2 coming as a plus 183 underdog. Let's actually get into it. So let's go here. Navi versus G2. Simple, $12,000. Again, this is a best of five. There are 10 players. All 10 are in play. All combinations are in play. I prefer to go three from one team, one from another. Dan, we're going to talk about this more as a strategy podcast. We're going to talk about more about some of these players, trends that we've seen, gameplay that we've seen, and leverage spots for large field GPPs. It's going to be very difficult to get different with only 10 players. It is the main $2,000 to first tournament only has, excuse me, 941 player pool. Simple at 12,000 is the most expensive on the entire slate, followed by Electronic at 10,600, Nico 10,400, Bit is 9,800. So if you want the most expensive players, let's just say we captain Simple and Electronic, we want to play Bit. You can't play anybody else. They're making you choose. So let's just say we want to go with Bit and we still want Electronic. You can only pick Jacks. Draftkings has made this very difficult to play the three best on Navi on this slate. Unless you just decide to not captain Simple. Is not a strategy I would advise on this slate. With the way he's looked recently, I think you lock Simple into your captain spot and you move on. How are you approaching
Oh yeah.
How are you approaching this grand final from a DraftKings perspective?
I limit how much I play. I think if anything, just because it's gonna be so chalky. And I just can't I can't see getting different by in very many ways. So I don't know. I mean, I maybe try to shoot for first and expect a chop, um, but not maybe some of the single entries would be okay because then you could just do one, rotate one guy that you might think go off into the captain and pray that he does.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it's not a very attractive slate for me.
Yeah, I mean this is gonna be very tight. I think bankroll management is key on the slate. I wouldn't really MME anything. I mean, if you want the bankroll, go for it. Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on Sunday. We get some NASCAR. We get the last NASCAR race for a couple weeks at New
Yeah.
at New Hampshire Motor Speedway tonight. As we're recording this, is Game 5 of the NBA Finals. We got baseball most likely tomorrow. We got a bunch of other things going on, and we're coming into it. The Tier 1 player break. So
Yeah.
as a bit of housekeeping before we finish continuing breaking down the slate, Dan and I are going to be off because right now the CSGO Clutch podcast is only covering the Tier 1 slates and/or like a majority of the Tier 1 teams. Dan and I may be back for a couple of special podcasts with maybe a few special guests on them. We are talking about a few different things we're trying to do during the player break. We got some other things planned as well. So Dan and I will be figuring that out during the player break again. Feel free to reach out to us either on Discord, on Twitter, however it is you guys want to get a hold of us. There will be CS:GO content. It will on DraftKings and Prize Picks. There won't be Tier 1 content. Because the Tier 1 teams are on a break until August. Which I believe... What is our next event, by the way? Is it DreamHack?
Yeah, it's mid August. I think 18th. The 18th is when they come back.
No! It's Pro League!
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's Pro League Season 14. Maybe we get another crazy KDM 1v4 clutch. And FYI, that's how I'm probably starting off the podcast. I'm just saying. So that's gonna be a fantastic intro. So we've got a bunch of the partner teams here. So ESL Pro League Season 14 from Malta will be a LAN event unless something goes crazy. We're gonna have some very interesting teams. EG's in the player pool because they're a partner team. We have Liquid and Tropic's going to be in this. That's going to be fun. We got Team 1 in this. The Bad News Bears are in it. And let's see how they've been looking. And we're going to have a bunch more spots still to be determined by the ESL World Rankings. Expect to see guys like Heroic there as well, going back to defend their title. I would expect to probably see Gambit in there as well. And Gambit being upset by FaZe was amazing.
It's very odd.
It's the LAN experience of the FaZe guys versus Gambit. Dan, you and I talked about it. I think that's something we need to continue to take into account as these teams that have excelled during the online era get onto these LAN settings. I think is going to make a difference.
Yeah, clearly, because they just crumbled under Navi. So it's Navi struggles with Gambit, but then they crushed that team that beat just says a lot to me.
Yeah, well, again, Navi have been arguably the best team in the world over the last month. They've been on another level recently. Bit's been playing out of his mind, and that's making a massive difference for this team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bit's very good.
So I think Navi are a force to be reckoned with going forward. I think Navi defeat G2 3-1. I think G2 take a map, but I think Navi end up winning this. From a DFS perspective, we kind of alluded to it. I'm probably 3-man stacking G2 and 1-offing Simple. Because I want the off chance that G2 finally break through and win something. And they have the talent to do it. They're just running up against the wall that is not as sincere.
Yeah, I think that's like the only strategy that's going to work. Maybe a 2-2, Nico, Simple, and Cat. Well, I don't know if you can afford it, but, I think there's ways to get different, but it's going to be so concentrated. Like, Simple's going to be 100% captain. Like, it's basically you're trying to get different with.
I'd be very surprised if Simple was under 50% in the captain spot.
Dude, he was like 70% in captain today on a 2-game slate in the $1.20 max.
Yeah, Simple's been playing out of his mind. I think you just kind of put him into your captain and you build around him. If you want your MMEing the slate, you want to put him in the flex, you can get some other players in the captain. I'm okay with that. I would not be fading Simple in a single entry, a 3 max. Maybe you take 1 or 2 lineups in a 20 max, and if you can even 20 max on this slate, you don't fade him. And if he implodes, then G2 wins. He's looked too good. He's looked too good recently where anything in any of the stats or indicators that make me think Simple's just going to stop playing good.
I'm sorry. He was not 80%. He was 44.7%, but in the bunny hop he was like 70% in the captain, so I got confused.
You sharks in the bunny. So again, I think for me, I'm gonna go 3-1 or 2-2 with G2. I'm gonna focus on G2. I want the leverage. I'm rooting for G2 to win. I'm rooting for them to break through. I want to see Nico get a big title. IEM Cologne is one of the big, non-major events of the year. Katowice is the other. Cologne's right up there with it. These are the two events they want to win. One of these teams is getting that $400,000 to first place. Neither of these teams are leaving with less than six figures. But they want that trophy. And by the way, there is a physical trophy. It's in the house. It's been teased on stream. It's been teased on the ESL's Counter-Strike social media. There's a trophy. It looks gorgeous. There will be a trophy presentation this year. The teams are actually going to be able to hold the thing up. Over the last year and a half, we haven't seen any physical trophies since Katowice of 2020. We're getting a trophy presentation this year, dude.
That'd be awesome. That would be a good thing to see, rather than just see everybody get excited in their bedroom and knock over their coffee or something.
Oh, if they knocked over the coffee. Hello? We lost you. What happened? Oh, no, not you. That would be us, the interviewers trying to get a hold of the players. Where'd you go? Spilled the water on the computer. Had to go to a backup computer.
That actually happened today.
Did it?
Replace a computer. I don't know if it might have been a drink spill.
I
think it was twist.
It doesn't matter the skill of the gamers. Accidents happen. Water happens. I will say I think I saw bananas. It looks like someone just went to some sort of snack. I think it was by Bubsky's computer. They're just looking, and I just see these two bananas just out of place. I didn't see any other food in the rest of the table. You just see two yellow bananas just hanging out, ready for a little snack.
No, he definitely ate some bananas. That's right. I saw that actually.
So.
I remember them.
All right. So, Dan, is there anything else you want to talk about? For me, I'm attacking G2 and one-offing simple. How are you approaching this from a single entry standpoint?
I mean, I think limit my dollar amount of play and just...
Yep, so bankroll management for sure.
And just hit, hammer G2. Because it's not like they can't win.
G2 have a legitimate chance to win. Like, if you're sports betting, I'd absolutely put money on G2. At plus, what is it, like 180 something? Let's see, what was it? It was...
I wouldn't go crazy. But,
right, plus 187? G2 have a chance to beat Navi for sure.
Yeah, of course. I just think they have some holes that Navi doesn't, that Navi can exploit.
I will say for me, there's 10 players. We don't want to get into favorite plays. I really like Almanac on this slate.
I'm not. A while back you kind of convinced me that it was never a good idea to play opposing operas, and now that he is
just opposing operas versus simple Zyro and Device, just because they're so good, and I can you can add in Shiro to that list, but that's more of that was more of a personal preference of like a personal rule, not like an actual Counter-Strike thing. I don't like playing anyone against them.
I like to stick by it, and I think there probably is some data that backs that assertion. So
it'd be data I'd be interested to see, but I really like Almanac. I also really like Nexa. That, like we said, all 10 of these players are in play. If Boomage goes off, if Jax goes off, if Hunter goes off, Perfecto goes off, Electronic goes off, any one can go off. It's a grand final. It's a best of 5. It's the first one we're seeing on LAN. These teams have looked really good recently. Again, first one we're seeing on LAN in what? Since Katowice 2020?
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I mean, I didn't really even see it because it was prior to the pandemic. But no, you just mentioned probably my favorite play which is Nexa.
Yep, he's a really good player on the slate too. Don't be afraid to get different if you're entering more than one lineup. Difference is going to help you take down these GPPs. They're going to help you take down your contests. there's only 10 players. There's only so many ways you can slice this pie, and again, simple being $12,000 in the flex, it's going to make combinations with simple very. You can't get varied
Challenging.
with them. Yeah, it's going to be challenging.
I mean, that's a really valid point too. That just the price, his price alone may
It's going to
create
force
some
you to play
variance.
a lot of the cheap guys. So
Yeah.
again, if you want to be risky and not play simple, go for it. I wouldn't be doing it. I'm gonna force simple in and build around him. Um, because he's been playing too good. His stats have been too good. He's the world number one right now, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, Zyru. Simple's been playing out of his mind this year. Right now, I think he's the clear one. Zyru was the clear two. You can make a case Zyru's three and Shiro's two. Um, I can make that argument. Anyway, anything else you want to talk about, Dan, on the DraftKings slate before we get into prize picks?
No, I'm good. I'm
All
good.
right. So let's move into the prize pick segment here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, shorter podcast than normal. I hope you all listening to this early because I'm gonna go. Dan is gonna give one pick. I'm gonna give one pick. There's only 12 on this prize pick slate. Nico, 55 and a half kills, three maps. Smash the over.
Smash that over.
Dan, we have Nico at 55 and a half, Hunter at 60 and a half for the three maps. We also have some map fours. So Amanek, if this goes to a map 4, 16 and a half. Hunter, if this goes to a map 4, is 19 and a half. Electronic on map 4 is 19 and a half, and Simple on map 4 is 23 and a half. I can't really play the map 4s. We do not know what map 4 is going to be. If it's going to favor a G2, if it's going to favor a Navi. I'm kind of staying away from the map 4 picks on this slate. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, I guess it's not horrible because if they don't end up going to a fourth map, if that's someone's concern, then it just becomes a DNP, and it changes the contest structure. But yeah, no, without having any idea what map, what map it could be, that's a really tough one. It definitely feels like a complete gamble.
Yep.
Whereas for three maps, you can kind of be like, all right, yeah, I think it might be this one, at least this one and this one, and then see if you think that they can hit it. But
We
just
know Navi are perma-banning Vertigo. We know that. So we know we're going to get the perma-ban of Vertigo. I mean, does G2 have a perma-ban?
well, I don't. Does G2?
Let me take a look. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pulling it
what are
up
they
now.
banning?
IEM Cologne.
Jesus, I usually can remember all these, but
Here we go. So let's see. Yeah. G2 perma-ban Overpass, Navi perma-ban Vertigo.
so they're gonna end up with one of those, right? I mean, they have to because it's a five map
It's just a matter of
competition.
what maps we're going to see first. Who gets, you know.
Oh, right. Good point. Good point. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we're probably gonna get Dust 2, Mirage, and maybe Nuke
I can
for the
see
first three.
I can see Mirage first. I can see Nuke second. Inferno third, maybe Dust 2 fourth, and Ancient as the decider. Um, because these teams really would prefer the other maps to Ancient. They haven't played it as much. Navi's played it 5 times. G2's played it 3.
Yeah, because I think G2 will pick Vertigo, right? I mean, isn't that
Can't.
because
Not,
you basically can't.
nope. G2 permaban Overpass. Navi permaban Vertigo. So
So what
those.
isn't it pick?
Nope. It's ban pick.
Oh, ban. Okay.
Ban and
So
then 5 picks.
oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot how that works. But all right.
Well,
So
technically 4 picks and a decider.
yeah, no, I would. That sounds good to me. Yeah, I think Dust 2 and I mean, I don't know why they would all of a sudden not pick Dust 2 as their first match because they picked Dust 2 a lot. But I guess maybe they're afraid. Well, I don't think you can be afraid
I think you
of
pick your
losing in the
best
first
your
one.
your your best maps first.
Yeah, and G2 loves dust too, right? I mean, isn't that?
So
Or
don't
am I getting
Na'Vi.
confused with Mirage?
It's Mirage. G2 like Mirage more than Dust 2. They pick into it more, in my opinion. Let's take a look. So G2 have played Mirage 16 times, Dust 2 14 times.
Oh, I've got them backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Navi like G2's Mirage, Navi's dust too.
You
So yeah,
got it.
but Nuke, Nuke. I would say G2 hasn't. Well,
G2 is a
I mean,
50% win rate on Nuke. Na'Vi 88%.
I could see Navi picking Nuke first, and then
Yep, which is why I think we see Mirage picked by G2, Na'Vi picking
yeah,
Nuke first, and then I think we see G2 pick Inferno, and then we see Na'Vi pick Dust 2 with Ancient left over.
yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I like, yeah. All right, so then we got Mirage, Inferno, Nuke for the first three,
If
and
map
then
4 goes to Dust 2, I'd take Almanac over 16.5 for Dust 2.
yeah, if
Is
that's your map
there a
four for sure.
yep? Is there a pick on here that you like?
I now like that one.
Hit. So
I
we're
mean, they
both in
kind of.
agreement on Nico over 55.5, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. And then I mean, I'm gonna go. Um, I was looking at some of these tier three ones, but I don't know that I would want to go near. Exapower 39.5. That seems doable, but I'm gonna stay away from it. So I'm gonna say bit under 60.5, just because he'll have like it seems like he always has like one bad map out of a three map match.
It's possible.
So I'll take bit under 60.5.
See, I would go bit over 60.5. I think he could get that. I think it's close, but I think, I think bit ends up in the 60s at the 3 maps.
So to the listeners, this is a good line.
This is a this
Choose
is
wisely.
60.5 is a really good line for him. Simple 73.5. I mean,
That's pretty crazy, but I mean,
probability
we know he can do
wise,
it.
probability wise, you could pick the under if you want to go on, can Simple basically go almost 24 frags per map? Can he do it? Sure. It's simple. That's just, again, probability wise, 73.5 is very tough to do.
I think I would take that over actually. No, because G2's not just gonna lay down like FaZe did today. They're gonna fight back. So I mean, you just need one overtime, and you probably will hit it.
If it goes overtime, then yeah, the overs on all of them will most likely hit. Is there
Yep.
anything else you want to talk about before we break for the tier 1 player break?
Um. Oh, have a great break.
Yeah, Dan and I really appreciate everyone's support out there. Continue to like these videos, leave comments on them, continue to hit that subscribe button. Really helps us out. We got some things Dan and I are going to be talking over the player break, and we're going to be figuring out how to make this podcast even bigger and better. And a lot of things to come when we get to ESL Pro League Season 14. For now, for Dan, I'm Adam. Good luck in the Grand Final. Enjoy the Grand Final. Latest, peoples.